All right, here we go. It's day 30, and we have a really kind of a fun day today. It's kind of like at the end of the school year when the teachers start doing lots of like fun events, like walks to the ice cream shop, pizza parties, pajama day. Our kids have coming up on Friday, which I always find
I know
like
some
a
of
little
you
awkward.
having pajama day right now doing your retreat.
That's right,
Yeah.
pajama night doing your retreat. Well, today on day 30, like across the hump, right into
Let's
the
talk
30s.
about love.
Let's talk about love. That was almost a song.
That was almost.
We're doing the love language test, which
cool.
is so fun. So Dan and I took the time tonight to revisit this quiz.
Yep.
We couldn't remember.
Amber wrote this quiz. Isn't it really funny?
Well, it's a little repetitive, but we didn't want to make it too
She's
complicated
hilarious.
for you. But we did have fun doing this, and Dan and I found out today, shock, right? I wonder how many of you
Shocker.
were surprised at
I don't
what
know.
your results that you found, or if you knew already.
Hopefully you were. That way
So-
you can love better.
Yeah, exactly. So my primary love language was acts of service, very closely followed by gift giving. And Dan was physical touch. And then all of the others, we were both like bilingual, right? So he scored a 2 in all of the other areas.
Oh, wow.
And it was really surprising, Dan, for you to discover that your love language was physical touch. You were sharing with me why. Do you
Yeah,
want to tell
so
everyone?
outside of our family, like really physical touches, I don't like being touched all that much. And so like I kind of like am like awkward long hugs. I'm like, oh, when's this gonna end? And like so I'm just not a very touchy feely person. But when it comes to like loving my family and being loved by my family, it's all about physical touch, which is really
and
is
it's not just a
interesting.
husband-wifey thing,
No, like
but
with
that's
my
how
kids,
he relates to the children.
I always say like my love language is violence because the way I
That's
love
a
my
funny
children
way to say.
is physical touch, right? Because the way I love my kids is by wrestling with them, you know. And it's
wrestle,
like,
rough
and
house
we
around.
roughhouse on the couch. We're constantly cuddling, constantly hugging, and so it's interesting even to learn about how in different areas and different situations you can have different love languages. And you know, obedience is all about listening to the needs of the other person, right? And so there's nothing worse if Amber like wants to be loved by receiving gifts, but I'm only trying to love her by physical touch. Well, then that would be problematic, right? Because I need
it
to
has been problematic.
because I need to
let's be
listen.
real.
Yeah,
And
it's
on
important.
the other hand, I love to receive gifts. Dan does not really care about receiving gifts.
I don't.
He would much prefer that I don't spend any money.
I feel stressed
on
out
him.
by gifts. I get
Right,
annoyed
because of
because
the
I'm like I
financial,
like
he doesn't
poverty.
like
I'm like I don't
stuff.
want any stuff. Yeah.
He doesn't want stuff.
So
And my desire for gifts is not about stuff, but about the thoughtfulness behind.
Yeah.
So I thought it was cool that acts of service and gift giving, I feel like those really lined up well. And somebody just came to my mind as we were sharing about the physical touch thing. This is a really cool quiz to do with your children too. Maybe not this particular one, but there is a book out there. The author of The 5 Love Languages has a book, Love Languages for Children. And I'm thinking about our son Giovanni, who lots of times got pegged as being a little bit rough. The reality is, for him to walk by and give somebody a little shove, he actually is physical touch too in his own love language. And so Dan was instrumental in us figuring that out with his joke about violence being his love language and that whole wrestling aspect. Boy, Giovanni's very physical. I mean, he won't talk to you without putting his hand on your shoulder.
Like, mom, I have to ask you something.
Yeah,
You're
but
like,
to his teachers too.
Yeah.
So in order to engage Giovanni in a way where he's able to be obedient and listen, we've learned that we have to put our hands on his shoulders, look him directly in the eye, and that's going to help him be obedient to us when we're hearing him. So you may have a bilingual spouse, right? But what we really want to encourage you to do in the book today is to listen to your spouse's love language and stop trying to love them in the way that you receive love. But as we've been talking about, make their eye your eye so that we can love one another better.
Yeah, we had a friend when we first got married. We she was like, she does marriage counseling, and we're like, hey, can we come into you and do the Myers and Briggs test? Because she was really good at going through the Myers and Briggs test and then having couples like learn how to listen to each other's needs better and love each other. And it was so cool to be able to do that because I'm not much of a touchy-feely, like emotional kind of person, but being able to associate like the intellectual understanding of who Amber was really helped me know how we interact. And one of the funniest things ever was to realize the difference between an introvert and an extrovert. And a lot of people would just assume, oh, Dan DiMattei, because he's at CYSC and because he's in youth ministry, he's this huge extrovert. But I'm actually, like on the Myers-Briggs test, a pretty strong introvert. And it's because how introvert is, it evaluates how do you get recharged, how do you get built back up. And I actually, because I'm out in the public all the time, I actually need to be away and in the quiet and in the silence to really think and process and be recharged by being by myself. And
I had to learn to not be hurt by that. Yeah. We would maybe have a dinner party or something going on, and Dan would need to step aside a little bit. I mean, not like, it was like family type guest things, you know, to not be hurt. Like, what's the matter? Did I do something wrong? Why? No, like, he's had enough people time and he needs to recharge right now. And on the opposite end, that Dan would come home from work and say, yes, Amber, please go meet your friends up on Main Street for shopping or to get, you know, a little snack together. Yeah, whatever it is, you know, that he knows that I need those little boosts of grown-up time, especially after being home with the kids all day long, that I need to be energized by adults. Yeah.
So just dive into different ways to get to know each other as husband and wife. It's so funny how, like, at work we do all these like personality tests and like strengths finders and all of these things with our coworkers, and sometimes it's like, wait, have you even done it with your spouse? Like, have you taken time?
Because we are coworkers, we are partners, and this is our $1 million business. It's worth everything.
It's worth eternal souls.
And you know what that same friend of ours said, and we were only maybe 3 years married, and she said, never stop discovering each other. Never stop getting to know one another. And I was really taken back by that, because I was like, oh, nobody knows Dan better than me. And she had to remind us, I never thought about this, that as we grow older, even though we live in the same house, we're going to keep changing. We're going to keep evolving and growing, just the way you see your children changing every day. And we want to not get upset with one another as we grow and change, but to say, hey, I'm going to keep discovering who you are and learning to love you and falling in love with you over and over again.
There's in the Catholic theology of the church, there's this beautiful word called mystery. And the Greek understanding of the word mystery is that it's not like a murder mystery where it's something that you get to figure out what it is. Murder mystery dinners
are fun to do with your friends.
Do that. But the theological understanding of the mystery of the Holy Trinity, or the mystery of the Eucharist, is that the Greek mystery is it's an inexhaustible reality, an inexhaustible reality that even in heaven for all of eternity I'll never fully grasp the Blessed Trinity. That's why it's a mystery. And I think that when you look at your spouse as a mystery, there's so much beauty in that the person that you're looking at day after day after day is ultimately an inexhaustible reality. And I'll never fully understand the mystery of Amber, and she'll never fully understand the mystery of me. And you guys, as husbands and wives, you get to dive into each other's souls and say, I want to know you more. I want to know you more. And I want to quench this beautiful reality of who you are. And you can do that with your children as well. And like, isn't that beautiful to like look into your kids and just try to like pull out who God created them to be, right? And that's what you do as husband and wife. And so if you're frustrated at times with your spouse, that's okay. That's normal. Just step back and say, you know what? She's a mystery. He's a mystery. And I just want to dive deeper into his heart or her heart and understand who God fashioned them to be. Amen?
Amen.
That's pretty sweet. Amen. So enjoy tonight. Have fun. Learn to love each other.
Find some more quizzes and fun stuff that you can do together and dive into the mystery.
Boom.
Okay, bye.
Talk to you later.